and Gio.
BT and Sal.
Kevin and Tiki. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
On The Fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Welcome to another episode of WFAN Daily, and a happy episode for the Yankee fans as they take Game 2 of the wildcard series and tie this up at 1-1, and there will be tomorrow. There will be a Thursday night game as winner takes all on Thursday, and Cam Schlittler will take the mound for the New York Yankees. Now, a lot going on this Wednesday to get into with this game. First of all, I got to be transparent. I was not able to sit down and watch this game all in one place. I was at the hospital at the start of the game. So I missed a little bit. I saw what was going on, but I was kind of in and out. And then I got into the car, listened on the radio, and then finally got home and watched the last few innings at home. So unfortunately for my 8-year-old, when they say at a baseball game when you guys are on the bench and they're like, don't sit on the top of the bench, like sit on the bench, don't sit on the back of the bench. Well, my 8-year-old sat on the back of the bench and he fell back. And the reason why you don't do that is because when you fall back, you get stitches. He didn't get stitches, actually, sorry, 3 staples. That's what he got. So we didn't even see an at-bat from his game. Actually, we did see one at-bat, and then we had to leave. Is what it is. He's good. He's fine. He's healthy. And that's really all that matters. But we were watching the game. That's what made him happy, was watching the Yankee game. Now, it was a little dicey here and there because the score did get tied up. But let's start it off here. So you got Carlos Rodon, who comes in here. And you, off of yesterday's Max Fried game, where he was pretty much phenomenal through every inning that he pitched, even though he only went 6 1/3 innings, he was phenomenal. You have Carlos Rodon, who you at times can basically be identical, be a mirror image to Max Fried. Can he dominate? Can he do what Max Fried did on Tuesday? Can he go deeper? That maybe is the question. And he starts off, strikeout to Rob Refsnyder, strikeout to Trevor Story, and Alex Bregman flies out 1, 2, 3, easy peasy inning, and the Yankees are off and running. You go to the bottom of the first, Grisham flies out, Judge grounds out. Okay, Cody Bellinger singles, base hit, and you're like, okay, good. Get some runners on. Let's just see what we could do against Bello. This is his first, I believe this is his first playoff game ever pitched for Brian Bello. So Brian Bello, regardless, first playoff game he's ever pitched. So maybe you can get to him early, get him rattled, and that's what Ben Rice does. And Ben Rice does what everybody wanted him to do on Tuesday. Which, should he have been in the lineup on Tuesday? Probably yes. But regardless, we move on from that. This was a lineup he was going to be in. He's the cleanup hitter, and he pulls a ball to the right field and clears the short porch, and it makes it a 2-0 game to start the first inning. And that is a great start to this game because now you have the lead, and now all Carlos Rodon has to do is keep it. Now, which is, let's be honest, you think he should be able to do. You go to the second inning, fly out, Narvaez flies out, Neaton strikes out. So again, 1, 2, 3 inning. Carlos Rodon's feeling good. Second inning, Chisholm flies out, Wells walks, and then Volpe grounds into a double play. Whatever, fine. Third inning. This is where things get dicey again. It's 2-0 Yankees, and Carlos Rodon does what he does. Duran single. Rafaela walks. Sogard sack. So you get second and third. Refsnyder strikes out. So you're like, okay, you can get out of this inning. And to Trevor Story, gets a single, scores 2 runs, and we tied up at 2. And that's the problem, is that Carlos Rodon is going to have to do a better job against better teams. Not against better teams, but he's going to have to do a better job in the playoffs. In those situations, when you have 2 outs and whatever the situation is, you got to find a way to get out of the inning. Trevor Story beat him. Okay, fine. It's tied. Reset the game. No problem. You get to the third inning, and here is again what you left off yesterday, where bases were loaded in the 9th inning and no out. You have a situation again where you have runners in scoring position. Ryan McMahon singles. Grisham, okay, gets out. Fine. Judge singles. So now you got first and second. And listen, Judge, the power right now, whether it's there or not, he's still hitting the baseball. And that's what you need right now. Keep on moving the runners. That's what we're trying to do. Just get runs however you can. Now, first and second with one out. Beautiful. They bring in Justin Wilson, the lefty, to face Cody Bellinger, Judge, and Grisham. Judge goes to second on a pass ball, and Grisham steals third. And then Cody Bellinger flies out. So now you got second and third, and Cody Bellinger flies out, and then Ben Rice flies out. Now, listen, I understand. They put the lefty in. They played the matches. They got a bunch of lefties in there to go up against your left-handed batters. So that's going to happen. You need to find a way to put bat on ball and score that run. Yesterday, the biggest issue was that when you had the bases loaded in the ninth inning, Jazz didn't get the ball deep enough, couldn't score a Goldschmidt, and you're not putting a pinch runner for Goldschmidt with down 2 runs. If it's down 1 run, you're putting a pinch runner in and you're sending the runner no matter what on that short catch at the end of the game. This case, same scenario. You're not sending the runner. You're just not doing it. So Bellinger and Rice fly out, and that's another situation where runners in scoring position, you need to find a way to score, and they did not do that. So game is tied up. Going to the fourth, another more easy inning. Eaton gets a single, but nothing too crazy. Bottom fourth, Yankees go down 1-2-3. Stanton, who hasn't really done much so far this series, and that's my guy. I love him, but you got to start for us to believe that the Yankees are going to win. Stanton or somebody else, Ben Rice right now, has to step up offensively. Stanton has not done it so far. He's grounded out a bunch, double plays, strikeouts. It is not looking good right now for Stanton, who was last week was ready. Looked like he was ready to pounce and take over in the playoffs. And so far, he has not done that. Then you go to the fifth inning. 1-2-3 again. So Carlos Rodon is feeling it. He's feeling good. This is great. And you get to the bottom of the fifth here, okay? And this is where Slayton comes in to relieve Justin Wilson. Volpe flies out. Okay. Not great. So far, he's hit that home run in game 1. You got to feel good about that. But then after that, a lot of outs. And in this one, bottom of the fifth, fly out. McMahon, I got to be honest with you, whatever. He is who he is. He is a defensive third baseman. That's why, and he's not even that great of a third baseman. He's just better than what they had before. You can't expect him to do much. Grisham walks, gets to second base, and then Judge again, clutch single, and that's all you're looking for. The guy's in scoring position. Judge hits the ball, and Grisham scores. And now the Yankees are up 3-2. Beautiful. That's what you need to do. Keep on finding a way to advance the runners. And listen, you'd love to see Judge hit a 2-run home run. That would be nice. But at least make contact and get those runners to keep rounding the bases. And in this scenario, Grisham was able to get to second base, and Judge was able to drive him home. Boom. Steven Matz comes in for Slayton, and Cody Bellinger then grounds out. You get Trevor Story, and then this is where it is. Like Carlos Rodon he had that blemish in the third, but he has been 1-2-3s for most of these innings. You get Trevor Story to lead off the top 6, and boom, ties the game up. And that you can't do. Like, that is the problem with Carlos Rodon. You know that at times he could be lights out, but he just loses it at times, and you get it's head scratching. You're just sitting there going aggravating, like you have the lead. Perfect time to shut down this inning. Now, Trevor Story has clearly gotten Carlos Rodon's number. So at the very least, why don't you walk him? Like if you're not going to be able to beat him, pitch around him. Like we see that all the time. Pitch around Trevor Story. He pitched around Alex Bregman. Okay, fine. So then Rami Gonzalez pops up, and then Carlos Narvaez grounds into a double play. Like think about that. If you walk Story and then walk Bregman, and then Gonzalez pops up, and then Narvaez. Now listen again. Is it going to play this out this way? Who knows? But if Narvaez grounds into that double play with 1 out and 2 on, boom, no runs. He's got to figure out if he's not going to be able to attack these right-handed hitters, and they got his number. You've got to find a way to pitch around him. That's it. End of story. If he's going to be effective. That being said, you go to the bottom of the 6th. Things get a little crazy here. Rice singles to shallow center. Stanton again lined out. Jazz strikes out. Wells singles. Now you got 2 men on. in the bottom of the sixth. And again, another opportunity to break this game open. It is 3-3. All you need to do is somebody to come up big. Zach Kelly comes in to relieve Steven Matz after, again, Wells single, so it's now first and second. And Anthony Volpe strikes out. It's just like, again, he hit a solo home run in game one of the wild card. So you tip your cap and say, okay, good job, Volpe. What else can you do? And that's the problem. Now, listen, you got to tip the cap to the Red Sox pitchers as well. But Volpe has got to be able to put bat on ball. And this has been the struggle all season long. He's able to hit a home run. We know that. We get that. I think he had 18, 19 home runs this season, whatever it was. Okay, great. Most major league ball players can hit double-digit home runs. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It doesn't impress me when Volpe can hit home runs. How about you find a way to do what Aaron Judge did and get a single? Find a way to put bat on ball, put it in play, and have them make a play at home plate. That's what you got to do. And unfortunately, he strikes out. You get to the top of the seventh here. And this could have gotten out of hand. And here's where it comes down to, right? So Carlos, yesterday in the seventh inning, Max Fried comes out and pitches to one batter, gets the out, and Aaron Boone comes up and takes out Max Fried. And everyone's sitting there going, why'd you do that? That's terrible. Bad move. Got no feel. Whatever the case is. You have Carlos Rodon, who continues to either fly through an inning or give up runs. He's had 2 innings where the Trevor Story home run on the solo the inning before, and then in the third where he gave up a couple runs to tie the game up as well. In the top of the seventh, he walks Nate Eaton. And he looks terrible pitching to him. While he's pitching to Duran, he's throwing wild pitches. And then finally, he actually hits Duran. When you have Carlos Rodon, and Rodon, let's see, how many pitches did he pitch? He went a total of 91 pitches. And I understand his pitch count was better than Max Fried, so you should be able to go deeper, right, technically? But you saw him struggle throughout certain innings. You saw him not be perfect. You saw him give up the lead twice and allow the game to be tied twice. It's the seventh inning, and it's a tie ball game. You can't have any hiccups. And Carlos Rodon has shown to you already today that he could blow up at any time. Once he walks Nate Eaton and doesn't make any of those pitches relatively close, you got to go batter by batter, and that was the time to bring in Fernando Cruz. Instead, again, I get it. You want to face the lefty versus Duran, and he hits him. And 2 runners on, Fernando Cruz comes in. He gets Rafaela to pop out, gets Sogar to fly out. Yoshida singles and couldn't believe they didn't score anybody. And then Trevor Story flies out, and they get lucky. They get very, very lucky that that inning didn't blow up in their face, because a 3-3 game could have easily been 5-3 with a base hit that scored a run. Could have been. And they get very, very lucky, and they move on to the bottom of the seventh. Whitlock comes in and makes pretty much, besides the Grisham double, makes easy work. Top eighth, Devin Williams comes in, and he's been pitching pretty good, but he does allow a leadoff single to Bregman. Lowe, comes in and grounds into a double play, and then Narvaez strikes out. So, listen, Williams has been effective. You could sit there and talk about whatever he did in the regular season, however terrible he was in April, which he was god-awful. He was the worst that anybody's ever seen Devin Williams pitch before, and he's had some bad Aprils. This was the worst ever April of his entirety, and he had an okay season after that. It was good. It wasn't great. It was good. You take away that first month, he was a good pitcher. However, he has been really, really good for the last, I think, 9 or 10 appearances for Devin Williams. And he's somebody that you could trust. You can't put in Zach Wheeler. I said Zach Wheeler. Weaver. Why am I saying Zach Wheeler? Jeez. He's out for the season. You can't put in Weaver. You can't put in, some of these other guys. Tim Hill, I'm not trusting. but you could trust Devin Williams. That's for sure. You get to the bottom of the 8th here, and this is where things get exciting again. Ben Rice strikes out. Okay. Stanton grounds out. Again, Stanton with these offers, it's not looking good. Like, that's going to have to be, if he's not hitting, like if they win tomorrow on Thursday and Stanton's not hitting and you face a lefty that you can't, or whatever the case is, you have a situation where you have Stanton, who usually DHs, and you have a tough pitcher, and you want to either put Judge at DH and have somebody else play right field for Judge, or you get Rice at that DH role, or whatever the case is. I'd make a case. If Stanton's going to go over for these 3 games and you make the next round, I'd make a case for Stanton having to sit. I know that sucks but this is the playoff time. You have to be alive here. You have to show that you're able to do something, and he's not playing defense. So if he's not hitting, he's not doing anything. All right, so bottom of the 8th, 2 out, Jazz Chisholm, walk. And here's the thing, right? Like, you think that Chisholm is going to steal eventually. You think that he's going to do that. Like, my wife and kids were jumping up and down. And yes, even the 8-year-old who had staples in the back of his head was jumping up and down. Well, maybe not jumping, but screaming, exciting. Like, get ready. Jazz is going to steal on this one. Jazz is going to steal on this pitch. And never really makes the attempt to steal. And it's like, put yourself in a position to score. Like, that's what you got to do. There's 2 out. Austin Wells is up. He can make contact, but even a base hit may not drive you in. You're going to have to put yourself in a spot to score. He doesn't steal. And then Austin Wells hits a ball down the right side of the field. And Jazz does the unexpected and puts on his Jets and scores all the way from first base on a play that was very close, but got in there, no problems, safe. And the New York Yankees take the lead. Followed by that, guess what? Anthony Volpe gets a single. Unfortunately, no run score. Then McMahon walks, bases are loaded, and then Peyton Tolley comes in, and Grisham grounds out. Again, another big opportunity for Grisham with bases loaded to blow up the game. Yesterday, he had the opportunity to tie the game, maybe win the game, did nothing. This time, he has an opportunity to extend the lead, make it bigger, nothing. That insurance run could have been huge, but Bednar comes in, Abreu strikes out, Duran strikes out, and then Raphael flies out. Even though it looked like it was hit a little hard, died at the end, and Judge makes a catch at right field. Game is over. Series is tied at 1 apiece, and they're going to a game 3. But let's get back to that decision on the Carlos Rodon stuff. Yesterday, the accusation was Aaron Boone had no feel to take out Max Fried, thought that this was all predetermined, and they pulled Max Fried at the wrong time. He probably could have pitched deeper into it. And Max Fried is the type of guy who, he said, I had more in the tank, but no one ever asked me to go. Carlos Rodon's the type of guy who may have actually convinced Aaron Boone to leave me in. That is a possibility. Now, I haven't listened to the post game, so I don't know if that conversation happened. I'm just talking about it, but that is a possibility. Carlos Rodon is the guy that's always going to fight. He's fought every day he's been on the mound for the New York Yankees. Anytime that Boone's come out there to take the ball from him, he's had an issue. No matter if it's good, bad, whatever, he wants more. He wants to fight, which you love that attitude, but the problem is he never comes through in those spots. So if that was a conversation and Boone allowed him to stay on because he asked for it, that's the wrong move. That's where you got to protect your players. And what you were doing yesterday with Fried is really what you should have done today with Rodon. You got 6 innings out of him, only 3 runs. You got to take that and run because at any point in time, Carlos Rodon can blow up. Now, he didn't, thankfully, in that last inning. They were able to get out of that inning in the 7th, but it was too close for comfort. And you want to sit there and question, Boone and whomever about these calls. I'll give you the one today. Yesterday, again, I don't want to sit there and say it's all on Boone. I really don't. And people try to make it out to be all on Boone. I get it because he's the manager and ultimately he makes those decisions. But if you think that he's basically the be-all, end-all in that room, this has been talked about for hours. They studied upon it. This is the situation we're going to do, and he's going to follow the script. And if you're not happy with the script, Don't be pissed at Boone. Don't be pissed at Boone. Be pissed at the upper management. That's what it comes down to. I understand it's frustrating, and I understand you need a scapegoat, but Boone is not the guy that you should make a scapegoat out of. Now, Cam Schlittler is getting the start for the New York Yankees, and he's somebody that has pitched. He's been in some amazing games where he can go basically be shutting down teams, no-hit teams for 5 or 6 innings, and he's going to run into another situation tomorrow with Aaron Boone where Cam Schlittler is probably going to be lights out for a majority of the game. Is he going to have the right feel? Is he going to be able to go, if it's a 0-0 game going into the 7th inning and, a batter gets on, if he even allows, Schlittler to go out there in 7th inning, is he going to have the guts to go out there and make sure he reads the situation right? This is a do or die situation. There's nothing else. You got to win tomorrow. And the Yankees showed today that they can hit the bullpen. They can hit the starting pitching. I mean, Bella pitched 2 2/3. I mean, let's be serious. Garrett Crochet is the toughest pitcher in that lineup. Aroldis Chapman has been tough all season, but everybody else the Yankees can get to. And they found themselves, even against Crochet, even against Chapman, they found themselves with runners in scoring position, but they couldn't drive in the runs. And that needs to change. And that has to happen tomorrow because you're going to be in a situation again where it's going to be a tight game. I just feel like this series is going to be tight. You basically know that the Red Sox are scoring 3 runs. That's how you got to expect it. They scored 3 runs on Tuesday. They scored 3 runs again today. They're going to find a way to score 3 runs. You got to put up more. And how are you going to be able to do that? You're going to have Ben Rice in the lineup. You're going to have, Stanton's questionable. If he's not going to produce, and especially with defensive purposes, because now, we saw yesterday with Sogard taking advantage of Judge's arm in right field. You can't have that anymore. You need better defense. You saw Ben Rice even at first base today being an issue. Luckily, they didn't score. You think about that. Luckily, Jazz made a nice play, threw the ball to Rice, and luckily, even though the ball got past Rice, no one ran home. Thank goodness. I mean, it was just an aggravating game again defensively, and that's their biggest hole is that their defense isn't perfect. It hasn't been all season long. Again, you're playing Ben Rice at first base. He's a catcher, but he's not even a great catcher. He's a better catcher than he is first base. But then if you take Ben Rice off of first base, is he playing DH? Is Goldschmidt playing first base? Is Stanton sitting? Everything is like connect the dots here with the New York Yankees. And with this final lineup, your bats are going to have to be as lively as ever. They're going to have to put up a ton of runs, as many as possible. And is 3 going to do the trick? I don't think so. I think you'd have to score 5, 6 runs tomorrow to win versus the Red Sox. But it's do or die, and then on to the next. Is it going to be the Red Sox? Is it going to be the Yankees? Is this rivalry that exciting? Is the 3-game series very exciting? It is a good series. No one's going to deny it, but I wish this was a 5 or 7-game series. 3 games suck. It's better than the 1-game playoff where it was like a playing game. So this is better to have a mini series than no series, but baseball's got to fix it. I understand, you're trying to get through the playoffs as quick as possible, but 3 games is not enough. And that's where a team that is better the Yankees are a better team than the Red Sox, right? We can say that. Carlos Rodon maybe had an off night, but he's still better than the other starting pitchers on the Red Sox, right? Besides Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet is amazing. Tomorrow, Cam Schlittler's going. All it takes is 1 bad inning, and the series can be over for the Yankees. But the Yankees are the better team. That's why these short series suck. But again, that's what baseball wants. When you go into sudden death stuff, that's why football sometimes is crazy. When you go to the NFL and there's these, it's not a playoff series. It's a 1 game, sudden death basically, win and in, and anybody can win. So I'm not a fan of the 3-game series, but I am a fan of playing more baseball, and that's one thing I will say. I know some people are like, "But Pete, you are a Mets fan, aren't you?" Yes, I am. I, though, however, And I have a couple things. First of all, family comes first. So no matter what happened today, had to be at the hospital with my kid, with my family, had to make sure that they were healthy. Then comes the Mets. Love the Mets. Mets are my team. But then after that, my rooting interest is New York. And I've made that very clear for a long time now. I am tired of watching other cities, other places that I can't stand, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's Boston, you name it. I can't stand seeing other cities, states celebrate championships while we haven't won one. And I understand the Liberty did, so kudos to you. But besides the Liberty, we haven't won a championship since the Giants in 2012. It is arguably way too long. We're talking about 13 years of a drought. It's got to end. And I don't care who it is to end it. Like every year, I hope the Giants and Jets are going to do well. And they don't. And that hurts. I'm hoping that the Knicks are going to have a great season. They did. And they still failed. And that hurts because I don't want to see anybody else celebrate. I want to celebrate. And we need to celebrate. The New York fans, you tell me if I'm wrong, but New York fans got to celebrate something soon, right? We can't celebrate, oh, we got to a World Series or oh, we got to a Eastern Conference final. No, we've had a little taste of it here. The Yankees won the World Series last year. You know, the Rangers had a run 10 years ago. They got the Stanley Cup. The Mets went to the World Series 10 years ago too. Yeah, we've all been there, had those little tastes of it. We need to win. It's time to. It's been way too far. And there's too many teams locally that for us to lose and not win is outrageous. It's embarrassing. LA keeps on winning stuff, but we don't. And I know it's like, and that's why I say, like, when it comes down to like the Mets and Yankee stuff and people are just battling and want to be Mets versus Yankees, there's a time and a place for it. But right now for me, I am all in on the Yankees winning a World Series because I just want people in New York, the tri-state area, to be happy. That's what I'm looking for. And if you don't respect it, that's fine. If you're like, oh, you're not a real Mets fan, how can you do that? That's fine. But I've learned to not care enough about being upset about the Yankees. Like, I don't care. Like, when I'm watching this, like the Yankees losing this year, the Mets losing this year, that killed me. That hurt my soul. The Yankees had nothing to do with that. Like, does anybody understand that the Yankees had nothing to do with the Mets losing? Yes, Yankee fans were poking the hell out of all Mets fans. Why? Because Mets fans were pissing all over Yankee fans when Juan Soto came here. So I get it. Now, I'm not saying that either is wrong. You can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you how I'm going to do it. I am not going to piss on anybody. I don't like to piss on people. That's not my goal. I don't want to do that. I want to celebrate. We think we should all celebrate. And if the Yankees bring a championship to New York, it is okay to crack a smile. It is okay to say we got one. Because we, as a New Yorker, got one over Philly, over LA, over Boston, over Canada, over Cleveland, over whoever else you want to put, Chicago, Milwaukee. That's what I feel. You don't have to feel that way, and that's okay. You can tell me that I'm not a real fan. I'm going to tell you to go screw. That's all. Thank you for listening to another episode of WFAN Daily. Game 3 is tomorrow. I'm hoping to go live in the 9th inning as long as I don't go to the hospital with anybody else. There should be no reason why we're going to the hospital. So let's have a good game, and maybe we'll go on earlier if needed. But at the very least, we'll go live in the 9th inning and watch the 9th inning go, and we'll see how things go. But thanks again for listening to another episode of WFAN Daily. You can hit me up at Hoff WFAN on all social media. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. with BT and Sal. And you can go check out the Odyssey app for anything else, any of the shows, whether it's Boomer and Geo, whether it's Evan and Tiki, Keith McPherson, Chris McMonagle, you name it. It's all there on the Odyssey app. And don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube page as well. We appreciate the time. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the follows. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.